Hello, 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 everybody. This is your faithful friend Sandra Graves, and welcome to The Code. Anyway, today we have an amazing topic from an amazing author, and that's who I want to introduce you today. But in the meantime, I want to remind you that if you have an amazing topic to share with us, please send us an email to info@envivoassociate.com. Again, that is info@envivoassociate.com. It's all about growing. Let me tell you that you have something that is really amazing about you, and I want you to share that with the world. Don't say, oh, I don't have anything, because yes, you have something special too, like every one of us. So give me a call, contact my assistants, and they will be able to connect so that we can have that interview and so that the world can hear you. Anyway, I'm going to be back to my topic. It is finding success in balance. Woo! I love that topic. And her name, I want to make sure that I say right, is Apryl Schlueter. Apryl Schlueter, that's what her name is. And she's a happiness and productivity coach, motivational speaker, an amazing author of the book that I just mentioned, Finding Success and Balance. So let's see what she can tell us about that. Anyway, Apryl, tell us first about you. Who is Apryl? And then tell us about the success and balance stuff. Tell us.
Awesome, Sandra. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's so great to finally connect with you. And yeah, so my name is Apryl Schlueter, and I run a business called The Cheerful Mind. I work with high achievers who are looking to really enjoy life as they're going through the motions, because high achievers are very motivated, very driven. They want to accomplish a lot of great things, but sometimes they lose themselves in the process. And I speak as somebody who did that same thing. I had a huge life transition after burning out from my last job, and really posed with that question of, what is it that I'm here for in this lifetime? I really want to accomplish great things, but maybe what I've been doing is not the right way. And maybe what I was doing was dictated by, society or external people pressuring me to do certain things because that would make me successful. And even though I was externally having all of the success, I felt like I was dead inside and I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't happy. And I had to take a good look at that and say, what is it that I want? And, we all have to work to make money and to afford the things that we want to do. But there's something more to life than that. We really want to enjoy time with our family. We want to experience the world and go on vacations and to have hobbies and do all those things. And so for me, it was this realization of, I want to be successful, but I want to have fun too. And so how would that work if I could help people kind of use what they've got going on in their lives, but streamline it a little and make it a little bit more efficient so that they could truly enjoy life? And it's not just, oh my gosh, I'm going to work and then I'm going to come home and then I'm going to sleep and then wake up in the next day and say, okay, do it all over again. How can you really truly be fulfilled in your life by, being a little bit more productive and being a little bit more mindful about what it is that you're doing? And so I went through the process myself, really trying to discover what it is that I'm passionate about, the things that I've done. And in the process, I realized that actually pursuing my passion made me more productive, made it easier to accomplish success. And work-life balance has always been such a big part of my life, big priority. I will not choose my family or my career over my family, yet I was doing that constantly by neglecting them and just focusing on all the problems that were happening at work. And that's not the way that I want to live. And so really shifting my priorities and making sure that I'm attending to the things. And most importantly, even, I would neglect my health a lot. And that was one of the big reasons that I burned out. And so making sure that, healthy living is a non-negotiable. If we don't take care of our bodies, we won't be alive to see the next day. So really making sure that
Apryl, there is one thing, all of you motivational speakers and author, you just love to come to my job and tell me that. And it's something that I want to do, but it's not that easy like you put it, because I'm very successful and I hardly have any time to be able to spend with my family. But although I do want to put them first, I really don't
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's funny because I think, that's the biggest complaint that I get from people is that I just don't have time. And it's not that you don't have time, it's that you're choosing to put the priorities in a different direction. So it's I see it all the time, right? I work with people who want to accomplish goals. They say they want to write a book. They say they want to start a business. They say they want to do that. And then you see them traveling the world and not doing work. And you see them, watching a lot of TV, or you're hearing stuff playing
yes,
on social media. That's
yes,
not going to get you to the end game. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't not do those things, because
yes,
sometimes those things are fun. I was
yes,
literally playing a game on my phone before we started talking today.
yeah.
But you have to be very mindful about and intentional about where you spend your time. So if you really want to spend time with your family, you have to make those adjustments. And you're right, it's not easy. And that's
That's
why
right.
it's so important to get support. And that's why coaches are so great to make sure that they're holding you accountable, but helping you do it in your way. And so, it's not easy. I'm the person that teaches this stuff, and I still struggle with it every day. I think all this past week I've been talking about how I just got back from a vacation and I'm drowning in emails and paperwork, and I don't even have time, but my kids are home and I'm trying to do all of these things. But it has to be a choice. If you're choosing to do those things, then you're doing it to yourself. And so if you want to make a change, then that's where people like me can come in and really help you really determine what's really important and do only those things, because then you will feel the fulfillment after that.
Woo! No, supposedly this show is supposed to be like 30 minutes, but you already summarized some amazing stuff with just answering that. So let's see what else you got for us, because I'm hungry for information. So bring it on, girl. Bring it on.
Absolutely. So what would be something that that either a lot of your viewers or maybe even yourself struggle with the most?
Right now, I'm not struggling with anything except for having a great spiritual relationship with my God. But something that I do know that a lot of people struggle with is what we talk about, still putting their family first. They have a lot of success, what they call success, but they are not enjoying it. And I don't call that success. Success is something that you are able to enjoy with your
Hmm.
family. Because, example, when I was a model, I reached to the very top of the where I wanted to climb. I didn't talk to my family. I wasn't getting along with anybody. And when I reached to the top, it was just like I was all alone. I was financially success, but spiritually and emotionally, I was them. So this is
Yeah.
the kind of things that I could say that a lot of people are also struggling with. So what would you say about that?
Yeah, and it's with spending time with your family, paying attention to your health, all of those things. I feel like we as a society tend to ignore those things because they seem pretty stable. They're just there, right? Family is there until they're not. Your health is there until you're not. You don't really start to pay attention to it until there's a problem. But it's because it's part of everybody's lives. So in terms of trying to make more time for your family, I think the first thing that you have to do is really set that intention and say, I want to spend more time with my family, because you can say it all day,
That's
but if you
right.
don't take action on it, it's never going to change.
Yeah.
And so I think really identifying at the very core level, all coaches will say this, but it's really identifying what it is that you want and understanding, okay, I want to spend more time with my family, but not just say it. I really, really want to do it. I might want to take up a new skill, or I might want to go back to school, or I might want to, you know, learn to say no. It could be any sort of thing, but really understand what you want to do. And then the second piece would then be trying to figure out what's getting in the way of having that be what you want. So a lot of people
Hmm.
say they want to spend more time with their family, but what gets in the way? Oh, I have to work a lot. Oh, I have to. And so these types of excuses, or I call them time suckers, right? Things that take you away from having the thing that you want. Those are the things that we need to really examine a little bit further, because that is going to be what gets you to start taking action. A
Well,
lot of
I
times,
knew someone that said, she wanted to spend time with her family, right? And then right after she said that was like a number one priority. She was going to go on vacation with her family. Bling, bling, she got a phone call. Yeah. Oh, I have this amazing opportunity for you, but you have to come tomorrow. She
mhm,
said yes to the opportunity and no to
mhm.
vacation with the family. We already know what the priority was there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that that too is really thinking about, are your values, cuz there's when you get opportunities, of course, a lot of people that I work with struggle with saying no. They don't want to say no to a really great opportunity, but sometimes um then you have to get real with yourself and say, is my family really my priority? Am I walking my talk? What is it about this opportunity that I'm valuing more, that I can actually say that I'm going to choose my over my family, even though I just said my family is priority number one.
Yeah,
And that would give you, so I mean, I'm not really sure what this opportunity entailed, but
exactly.
it could be something like, hey, we're going to pay you a lot of money, or hey, we're going to give you a lot of exposure, or hey, this is going to be, it could be one of many things, but whatever that priority is, that is what they're choosing. And they have to really be aware that, hey,
Yes.
you're choosing, let's say it was money as an example. You can say, okay, well, okay, this is a great opportunity. It's going to pay me a lot of money. And having the awareness of saying, I'm picking money over my family, and even just making that statement
Mm-hmm.
really is an awareness to say, oh my gosh, is this
Yeah.
really the way that I want to live? And can cause you to really question if you're really being true to your word, because you can say things all day
Yeah.
long, right? But
Yes.
sometimes actions speak louder than words. That
Yes.
that that common saying. So it's really, really important to really know when you're making choices, because life is all just a bunch of choices, right?
Yeah.
But we should be in control. What I do see some people do, though, is they make choices out of fear, or out of some assumption or some sort of pressure that's
Yeah.
external. And so they almost feel like they don't want to take the burden of, like, oh, it's not my fault, it's just because work is so hard. No, you're
Yeah.
choosing
That's
to
right.
fulfill work. What is wrong with having that conversation
Yes.
with your boss to say, hey, I this is time with my family, it's really, really important. And it could be something like, oh, I don't want to lose my job. There's so many
Yeah.
different reasons, but it's really important to understand what that thing is and drill down all the
Yeah.
way to the surface to see what that is. And then you can start chipping away at those
Yeah.
beliefs, and making sure that they're really sound and true, before taking action.
And get it clear. If you are listening to us, we are not telling you to not take opportunities. We are not telling you to not have vacation with your family. But if you're having vacation with your family every week, and your boss know that you prefer fun versus work, then you deserve to be fired. Okay? The point is, you need to, like what she said, that's what we're talking about today, is finding success in balance. That's the whole point that we are trying to make here. So you need to find out what is your priority, and then be able to balance that out. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. So don't say that April and Sandra got together and told you to either quit your job or ignore your family, because we didn't say one or the other. Okay, we don't know your situation, and that's the reason why. If you want to learn more about April, you can look at the website right here at the bottom, and that is thecheerfulmind.com. Thecheerfulmind.com, where you can find out more about her. And she was actually telling me earlier when we were talking in private and stuff that she have a show also on YouTube, and that she's going to be doing more of that thing on YouTube with her partner that she's talking to. You should be visiting. You should be learning more. Like, everybody has something to share with you. Okay, so follow her, learn more about her, and we're going to be talking more to April when we come back from this commercial break. Is that okay, April?
Sounds great.
Okay, we're back.
life every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Don't forget, we're bringing you coaches, speakers, classes, and much more. We are here to help you grow. Don't forget, we are here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Well, we are back with Apryl. And we are here with the happiness and productivity coach, motivational speaker, and author. No, I don't talk like that, and I'm not trying to talk like that. This is Sandra Graves, and welcome back to the court. And here, don't forget that we are here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time to bring you expert motivational speakers, people that love life and want more out of it. But also, most importantly, they want to have quality time with their family. So if you want that with your family, then continue to listen to us, because Apryl, she has some amazing stuff that she's sharing with us. And you can tell that she is practicing these things because it comes natural. She's not like, okay, let me see what my book says. Because yes, she is an author. The author of Finding Success and Balance. That's the author. I find it. So you should be able to look for that book. Once we finish with this conversation, look for that book and buy it, because you need balance in your life, like we all do. So Apryl, is all yours, because I can talk a lot. So let me give it to you.
Great. And just to piggyback on some of the things that we've talked about so far in terms of really identifying what it is you want, really knowing what your priorities are, I just wanted to share some 3 simple tips of things that I do in my day, because, we all know we all live busy lives, and to give you a tip that is so daunting to implement, it's never going to go anywhere. So I want to really, really start simple. So the first thing that I wanted to share is that at the core of anything, if you're looking to have a more fulfilling life, be more successful in all areas, not just your career, not just your health, not just your family, but all of it together, it all comes down to starting with understanding that awareness is going to be the vehicle to help get you there. You can't make changes in your life if you don't know what you're doing. If I was scratching my head every 5 seconds, or, trying to be on various shows and people keep on wondering why I'm doing that, and I wasn't even aware that I was doing it, I might not make that change. So it's really, really important to be very observant of your surroundings and know, from those observations, is there an action that you want to take that's different, or do you want to do more of the same? Because that will allow you to make a different choice. So I do things in my life where I reflect constantly. Every night, I sit there and I say, okay, what went well today? What didn't go well today? And it just gives me that opportunity tomorrow to not make that mistake. Like yesterday, oh no, I forgot to brush my teeth again. I need to do that. So what do I need to do to make sure that happens? I write it down. This sounds very, very silly, but I write it down in my planner. Don't forget to brush your teeth before bed. And it works. It seems silly, but it at least allows me to make that different change to make sure that it's something that I want done, because I don't want to lose my teeth at an early age. And it's so simple, but I obviously can't remember on my own. So always reflect constantly. Think about at the very end of your day what you did, what worked, what didn't, what would you do differently tomorrow. You can do this on a weekly basis too if you want, if daily is too daunting. But even just allowing yourself to ask that question, how did everything go today? Did it go well? Okay, I want to do more of that, and I don't want to do more of that. That's right. So just it's awareness is so, so important. The second thing, because I'm a happiness and productivity coach, it actually took me a few years of going through my own process to realize how interlinked they are. When you're in a bad mood or you're in conflict, you are just not as productive. So it's really, really important to, as much as possible, try to think positively as in your daily life. And just like exercise, it's something that needs to be practiced. Mm-hmm. So it's one of the, you can try to think more positively, but you have to work it like a muscle. So if you're that type of person who maybe is down on yourself and talking negatively or judging others, you always have to think about a different way to look at that same situation, because everybody is coming at the world with their own perspectives of things that they've experienced. And some people might not see something as a big deal where other people might see it as absolute tragedy. And so there's always a brighter point to every situation. And so trying to at least say, okay, well, this, we know that there's going to be things that are going to suck in our lives. We're not going to always be happy all the time. People say, April's the cheerful mind. She's cheerful all the time. It's not true. I have my bad days, but I'm in a practice to always try to be as cheerful as possible. So even just saying that, what I'm grateful for in the mornings or at night, whatever you want to do, there's things like the 5-minute journal if you want to have some sort of structure to constantly reflect. But to even just say, today I'm grateful for the fact that my kids are with their grandparents and having some bonding time out of town so that I get time to really focus on work. Or I'm really grateful that the weather has not been so terrible, or it could be about anything, but even just thinking about things and what you're grateful for instead of looking at what is not working.
My life sucks. My life sucks. If you keep saying that, your life is gonna suck because that's all you are claiming, right?
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm late again, or oh, I didn't sleep well. If you focus on those things, it's all the law of attraction stuff too. Yes. That what you put out into the world is what you'll get back. And so if you want to be happier, you have to practice by putting more positivity. And I also, I just think that the world could use more positivity, which is part of my mission, is to make sure that I'm doing what I can to make sure that I'm fulfilled and happy so I can spread that energy out to people and not complain about this, that, and the other. So practice positivity. Gratitudes is the easiest way. Do that daily. Just one thing that you're grateful for is good enough. The third thing, it kind of ties to what we were saying before, but is really setting intentions in really small chunks. Yeah, we might all want to be millionaires, making a lot of money and doing all those things, but we can't just do that overnight. It's something that you have to build up to. And it's better to have little small wins every single day instead of just going straight for the end goal. And of course, like if we accomplished all of our goals, then what will we do? We'd be bored. So, and the to-do list never ends. We always, once we accomplish one goal, we want to move to the next. And so,
example, really, I have achieved all my bucket lists, and now I created a new bucket list. So don't say, oh, I have done everything that I wanted, because let me tell you, I have done everything that I wanted, but there's always more. As long as we have life, there's always more to do, something to share with people. So even if you are what you call an older person, please don't think that you exited from this life yet. You exit when your eyes are closed and your heart stop beating. But you have a lot to be able to give, because I do get a lot of people saying that I don't need to do anything more. But yes, just give more of yourself, create new goals. Exactly what my April is saying right here.
Absolutely. And just do it in small chunks. I think sometimes we think too far and we get overwhelmed with the details of how many things that we need to do to get to the end game. But if you can just, and I'll share, this is something that my coach always tells me, is always thinking about that next 3-foot toss. You don't want to, throw something a mile away. You can have a small, quick win. So looking for those tiny little baby steps, because once you get to that, especially when you're stuck and you're feeling like I am not moving anywhere, think about the one thing that you can do to get yourself out of that stuck place. And once you accomplish that one thing, you will probably have more thoughts about, okay, what's the next thing that I can do? And what's the next thing that I can do? And before you know it, you're done. And then you're asking yourself, what's next?
That's right. That's right. And it's a beautiful place to be able to accomplish things and be able to say, what next? Because you can go and pat yourself on the back. Yeah, I did it.
Exactly. And I think that the last thing that is probably the most important that I just want to share as a side note is that, we're all unique individuals. And I think one of the biggest struggles that I had was always trying to follow a path of somebody who is more successful than me and wanting to emulate their thing. But I'm a unique individual and I don't like to do things the normal way. And so one of the big things that I'm really pushing for everybody is to do it your own way, because you can follow instructions and sometimes those work, but for those times that they don't work,
That's right.
It might not give you a good feeling, or, you know, there's always a million different ways to get to that same end result.
That's
All you
right.
need is determination and focus and drive. And as long as you don't give up, you're going to get there.
Yep.
And I know that that sounds like it could be, you know, just fluff conversation. And
No,
that it's
it
not
is the
true, but it is
perfect
absolutely
advice.
true.
No, it is the perfect advice because everybody want to follow somebody, and that somebody ain't you. So if
Yeah.
you're gonna make your mistake, make it because you are making your own mistake. So you know that's exactly you. You are unique and special wherever you are, and
Yeah.
that's how you're gonna be able to learn. So yes, listen to advice, but you don't have to follow every advice.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes, you know, people might get, you know, everybody's all in the place of wanting to help each other, and you might get advice, but feeling like you have to follow all of that, sometimes it's overwhelming, because like, oh, you can see that there's so many different ways to do
Yes,
anything.
that's
But
right.
sometimes people know that they need to make a mistake before they make a change, and
That's
so
right.
it's also good to fail sometimes.
Yeah.
So really just think about, you know, the choice that you want to make. I tell my clients all the time, you want to be at choice. If you are deciding to, you know, be unproductive and doing things that are distracting you, as long as you're doing it because you chose to, then it's fine. And, you know,
Hmm.
I have people who tell me, oh, I just binge watched that show, and I just lost 4 days of my life. And I said, well, do you feel any better? He's like, well, I feel like I need to get back to work. I'm like, great. If you needed that little break, then take
That's
it,
right.
because sometimes we need to prioritize self-care, and sometimes it shows up in the way of watching TV or getting a lot of sleep or doing nothing in a day.
Yeah.
You know, productive people aren't grinding at the bit every single second of the day.
Hmm.
Sometimes they need that rest, and that rest will actually give you more energy to be productive later on. So don't feel like you have to go all the time, because it's not working. I feel like in my life right now I'm working less than I have,
Hmm.
and I'm still getting like just as much, if not more, done. And
That's
so
right.
it's something that I might have not believed until I actually experienced it, but it's also because I'm so clear on my priorities, going back to what we were saying at the beginning. And I know that, you know, there's things that I may have been telling myself in my life before that I felt like I had to do, because if I didn't
Yeah.
do, then something was going to break or something was going to happen, and, you know, all hell would break loose. But I would let it go, and it wouldn't be devastating. So it was me putting things in my own mind, realizing that I was creating rules for myself that weren't really you know, I was creating those rules that were actually holding me back from what I wanted. So now that I've cleared that out, I can actually just focus on the things that are most important, and the rest is history. And that's why I feel like it's a process to try to find this balance, and it changes as you move through life, right? I think when you're a teenager, and then when you're a young working professional, and when you're a parent, the way that balance looks is different. And I talk a lot about this in my book, where, you know, balance is not one size fits all, right? There's not a formula that you need to follow to find balance. You
Hmm.
really have to pay attention to yourself and your needs, your priorities, your desires, and you can create balance in that way. So if
That's
you're that
right.
type of person who like doesn't want to have kids, wants to work all day, and you're
Hmm.
married to your job, but that makes you super happy, then more power to you. Go do that.
Okay.
But if you're also
Well,
that
she
person,
told you. And sorry, but we got to the end of this program, and I
great.
want to thank you for sharing all that information with us, which it was really full of passion and really educational. But if you're listening and you like what you heard from April, please follow her at the bottom of this video. Actually, on the screen, you are going to be able to see the information. And like I said, you can actually find her on YouTube. She told me that she's having a show on YouTube. Follow her over there on YouTube. And the website again is thecheerfulmind.com. And we have actually finished the 30 minutes. But April, not a sentence, not a whole thing, but just one last word, and I'm going to let you say so that we can end this without my mouth. Go.
Be happy.